Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The subject of the discourse today is Rathavinita Sutta, which I mentioned last time. This was in connection with, in the Visuddhimagga, it is said, what exactly is Sila? That is moral purification, leading to purification of mind and then purification of wisdom, and so on. It's a step-by-step development of spiritual perfection. That is the theme of the sutta, of the discourse of Lord Buddha. Now we have translated this sutta from the original Pali, that is in the Majjhima Nikaya. And today I think, before we dilate on the sutta, we analyze thoroughly the very salient points, important points which are important because they relate to our day-to-day spiritual life. Spiritual life is not something you see in the cloud. No, it's a very concrete, methodical development of one's inner possibilities. The mind is a mine. We must know how to exploit that mind and enrich, you see, ourselves spiritually, leading to enlightenment, which simply means freedom from recurring existence. Because we cling to samsara, to worldly existence, we are attached to everything of the world, that we are caught up in the world. It's as simple as that. And if you want to get out of all the sufferings of worldly existence, you will have to get out of this habit of becoming attached to things. And not to be attached to things means not to cling to things. So now, Nibbana has been defined by the Buddha in the sutta as the final freedom from clinging. Because we cling to things in the world, we cling to all the pleasures of the world, cling to the various ideas we have about the world and the life and so on, that we are caught up. But that is life. The nature of life is just that. You get interrupted in 100 different ways, and particularly every time you try to concentrate on something higher and nobler, there it comes. Some interruption, some disturbance, something somewhere. However, now to come back to the point, this sutta has many very important salient points. And before we expand on them, it would be a good idea to read out the sutta as it is, as Lord Buddha has given it, and we have just translated it, and once we go through it, we read it, and we understand, then on that an analysis would be very useful. So I would advise everyone to be mindful, to be attentive, because the sutta is very profound. I will read out. Rathavinita Sutta. The theme is 7-step spiritual purification leading to enlightenment. Now, Rathavinita Sutta means a simile of the relay chariots. Now the Venerable Ananda, he memorized everything, and in the first Sanghayana he read out like this. Thus have I heard. Once the Blessed Lord was staying at the Bamboo Grove monastery in the squirrel sanctuary near Rajagaha. Now a number of monks hailing from the native place of the Blessed Lord, having spent the rain's retreat there, went to the Blessed Lord. Having approached the Lord, they bowed down before him and sat down at one side. The Blessed One then asked them, Monks, who is thus deeply esteemed in my native place by his fellow monks in holy life? Now this is the theme is, who is an exemplar of the middle path leading to enlightenment. So continuing the Buddha, he puts the question, who it is who is very deeply esteemed and respected and loved by all monks, local monks in the native place means in Kapilavattu. He asks, who is that monk? Who is an exemplar of the middle path, who has become a master and he has walked on the path himself and reached enlightenment, and therefore is a perfect illustrator of the path. So he says, now a monk, he asked the monk, so a monk, the question is, the Buddha puts the question like this. Now, himself having few wishes, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of the fewness of wishes. Himself contented, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of contentment. Himself secluded, he talks to fellow monks on the benefits of seclusion. Himself aloof from company, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of aloofness. Himself energetic, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of rousing energy, self-effort. Himself possessed of virtue, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of acquiring virtue. Himself having attained meditative concentration, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of attaining meditative concentration. Himself having attained wisdom, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of attaining wisdom. Himself having attained deliverance through the Lokuttara Phala, that is the supramundane stages of enlightenment stages. Himself having attained deliverance from samsaric bondage, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of attaining deliverance, Nibbana. Himself having attained the knowledge and vision of deliverance. Now a person may think that he has attained Nibbana, but there is no proof. So how to know? So there is a state, there are insights into that by which one has full knowledge and direct vision of the experience of enlightenment, and a person can prove that the person is an enlightened one. And he himself being enlightened that way and having the knowledge of enlightenment and vision, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of the attainment of knowledge and vision of deliverance. He is the one who advises, guides, instructs, urges, rouses and encourages his fellow monks in holy life. Thus, the Buddha now says, in this way, who is esteemed in the native place? Who is respected? Who is that monk who himself has got all these 10 qualities of enlightenment, of an exemplar of the attainment of enlightenment? Who being himself that, he now talks only about it to his fellow monks who are also seekers of enlightenment or who have attained enlightenment. So this is the question the Lord put. And he also further said, that look here, only such a person can give spiritual advice, spiritual guidance and instruction. He can rouse people, encourage people to move towards enlightenment. So he asked, who is that? The exemplar of the middle path leading to enlightenment. So the monks now replied, Lord, the Venerable Punna Mantani Putta is indeed so esteemed by his fellow monks in holy life in the native place. This is because himself having few wishes, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of the fewness of wishes. Himself contented, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of contentment. Himself secluded, he talks to fellow monks on the benefits of seclusion. Himself aloof from company, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of aloofness, etc. Himself having attained the knowledge and vision of deliverance, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of attaining the knowledge and vision of deliverance. Now the Venerable Sariputta, he is the one who advises, guides, instructs, urges, rouses and encourages his fellow monks in holy life because he himself has attained it and having attained, he can guide, etc. So the middle path approach to spiritual perfection requires that a person must himself gain before he can actually guide. So that gaining is a process. It is not just suddenly you become enlightened, suddenly you become an exemplar of the middle path and so on. No. It's a process, a step-by-step development, and one has to pursue very patiently and very determinedly. Now, continuing with the sutta, it is now the Venerable Sariputta, the chief disciple of Lord Buddha, on this occasion was seated near the Blessed Lord. Then it occurred to Venerable Sariputta, it occurred this way. Oh, what a gain it is for the Venerable Punna Mantani Putta. Indeed, it is a very great gain for the Venerable Punna Mantani Putta that in the very presence of the Master, his wise fellow monks in holy life praise him so highly, point by point, and that the great Master too fully approves it. Maybe sometime in future we might be able to meet the Venerable Punna Mantani Putta and have some discussion with him. Now this is what Sariputta Bhante, who was seated there, he said this. Then the Blessed Lord after having stayed at Rajagaha, where this particular talk happened, you see. So, after having stayed in Rajagaha as long as he wanted, then he set out on a Dhamma preaching tour by stages to Savatthi. Wandering from place to place, he eventually arrived at Savatthi. Now at that time, the Blessed Lord was staying at the monastery of Anathapindika in Jeta's Grove near Savatthi. Now the Venerable Punna Mantaniputta heard the Blessed One has arrived at Savatthi and is staying at Anathapindika's monastery in Jeta's Grove. Then the Venerable Punna Mantaniputta, having put his dwelling place, that is his hut, his meditation hut in order, and taking his robe and bowl, set out on a Dhamma preaching tour towards Savatthi. That is from Kapilavattu. Wandering by stages, he eventually arrived at Savatthi and went to Anathapindika's monastery in Jeta's Grove to pay homage to the Blessed Lord. After approaching the Lord and having bowed down before him, he sat down on one side. After the Venerable Punna Mantaniputta had sat down, the Lord instructed, urged, roused and encouraged him with a Dhamma talk. Thereafter the Venerable Punna Mantaniputta, having been instructed, urged, roused and encouraged by the Blessed One's Dhamma talk, greatly rejoicing and filled with delight, he then rose from his seat and after bowing down before the Blessed Lord, kept him on the right side and went towards Andhavana. Andhavana Grove, it's a secluded grove a little away from Jetavana, and is named after some blind folks, Andha. So he went there for his day's meditative seclusion. Then a certain monk went to the Venerable Sariputta and told him, Venerable Sir, the Bhikkhu Punna Mantaniputta, about whom you have been always speaking so highly, has just been instructed, urged, roused and encouraged by the Blessed Lord with the Dhamma discourse, and greatly rejoicing and filled with delight in the teachings of the Blessed Lord, he rose from his seat, paid homage by bowing down before the Lord, and after keeping him on his right side, left for the Andhavana, blind man's grove, for his day's meditative seclusion. Then, having quickly picked up a meditation seat, asana, the Venerable Sariputta followed close behind the Venerable Punna Mantaniputta, who was on the way towards Andhavana. While keeping his head inside, he followed him. Now Venerable Punna Mantaniputta entered the Andhavana grove and sat down at the foot of a tree for meditation. Soon the Venerable Sariputta too entered the Andhavana grove and sat down at the foot of a tree for meditation, not very far away from Venerable Mantaniputta. When it was evening, the Venerable Sariputta, having emerged from his meditative absorption, samadhi, went to the Venerable Punna Mantaniputta and warmly exchanged words of greetings with him. When this polite and courteous talk was over, he sat down on one side and spoke to the Venerable Punna Mantaniputta thus. Now this dialogue is very interesting between Venerable Sariputta and the Venerable Punna Mantaniputta. Now the theme of the dialogue is, it's an attainable spiritual goals. That means the 7 stages of purification which are attainable spiritual practices as well as goals. Dialogue between Venerable Sariputta and Venerable Mantaniputta. Now Venerable Sariputta asks, Venerable brother, is the holy life lived under the Blessed Lord? Mantaniputta: yes, Venerable brother. But brother, is it for the purpose of purification of virtue, Shila, that the holy life is lived under the Blessed Lord? Questions. That's Venerable Sariputta questioned this. And answer is, Venerable Mantaniputta says, no brother, it is not for purification of virtue. Then, is it for the purpose of purification of mind that the holy life is lived under the Blessed Lord? No, brother. Then, is it for the purpose of purification of view that the holy life is lived under the Blessed Lord? No, brother. Then, is it for the purpose of purification by overcoming doubt that the holy life is lived under the Blessed Lord? No, brother. So Mantaniputta keeps on saying no, no, no. Then, is it for the purpose of purification by knowledge and vision of what is the path and what is not the path, that the holy life is lived under the Blessed Lord? No, brother. Then, is it for the purpose of purification by knowledge and vision of the way that the holy life is lived under the Blessed Lord? No, brother, he said. Then is it for the purpose of purification by knowledge and vision of the transcendental path that the holy life is lived under the Blessed Lord? No, brother, he said. Now, brother, when asked, but brother, is it for the purpose of purification of virtue that the holy life is lived under the Blessed Lord? You replied, no, brother. When asked then, is it for the purpose of purification of mind, or purification of view, or purification of overcoming